Next, we take you to St. Louis and the studios of KSDK TV for the latest local news from the flooded regions along the Mississippi River and its tributaries. This newscast was recorded at 5 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. That's 6 o'clock on the East Coast.
On News Channel 5 at 5 tonight.
It is a desperate fight to save a lifeline between Missouri and Illinois. We'll show you people battling the raging river near Quincy.
I'm Ken Jones, live in St. Charles County. The crest of the Missouri River is expected to be a lot higher than expected. Don't go away. More on that in just a moment.
And I'm Bob Richards in the Doppler 5 Weather Center. Heavy drenching rains this afternoon may mean the numbers that Ken was talking about may even go higher. We'll have more on that. News Channel 5 at 5 is next.
You're watching Channel 5, KSDK, St. Louis, where the news comes first. With Karen Foss, Rick Edlund, Bob Richards, and Mike Bush. This is News Channel 5 at 5.
Heavy rains drenched the St. Louis area on a day when floodwaters here break a 20-year-old record. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Edlund.
And I'm Karen Foss. Topping our Floodwatch 93 coverage, area rivers will crest even higher.
And that's especially bad news up north in the Quincy area. Residents and volunteers there are battling to save the only working bridge between the St. Louis area and Burlington, Iowa. And as I found out today, it is a race against time. They sandbagged, sweated, and cursed the sky that dumped even more rain on West Quincy today. Sandbags and straw from surrounding communities were trucked in to bolster a levee that weakens by the hour. And it's not just local residents battling the Mississippi. Volunteers from a Carmel, Indiana church group drove 6 hours to make it their fight, too.
Well, we just wanted to help out. We saw it on the news and just wanted to come over and see if we can help make a difference for some of the people that obviously need some help.
Yeah, we got in about midnight last night, and all the fellas were kind of keyed up. We went over by the Q Stadium, and there were a bunch of people sandbagging, and they said, well, we may as well work all night, and so if they wanted to, we decided we did.
This is the last working bridge along the Mississippi, all the way from Burlington, Iowa, down to St. Louis, a total of almost 250 miles. And if this levee goes, this bridge is gone, and so is West Quincy. What they're trying to prevent is what happened a couple of miles to the south, a levee break that left this sea of flooded farmland. Jerry Whitney was wiped out in the April floods. He remembers the big one in '73.
And what the sand does, it goes with the water because it's so light, but the straw's put on there to catch that sand and just let the water go. You got to have so much seepage, otherwise these levees would blow, they'd go off like popcorn. And you got to have that seepage. But you got to remember, since April, these levees have been holding flood water, and they're all soaked, all up and down the river.
Is this going to hold?
I'm counting on it. Standing here on it, it better hold.
The Mississippi is already higher here than in 1973. More than sandbags or straw, what residents and volunteers need now is some hot, dry weather. Now, West Quincy is a small rural community, so not many people are going to be displaced if that levee does indeed give way. But that bridge is vital for business as well as hospital connections in northeast Missouri and west central Illinois.
And it graphically shows what the problems are everywhere.
It really is a mess up there. It's amazing to see all that water. Well, the river crest is heading down the Mississippi from Quincy to our metro area.
But even before the river reaches its peak, the Mississippi has already reached new heights. News Channel 5 Chief Meteorologist Bob Richards is in the Doppler 5 Weather Center with the story of this new record. Bob?
Well, certainly we reached a record, and we'll get to more of that in a moment. I think of greater importance is not only the heavy rains we had today, but the heavy rains we had yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And because of that, the National Weather Service in St. Louis has now revised, unfortunately, upwards its river crest forecast. In the St. Louis area, the river will crest now on Monday. For several days, it was slated to crest on Sunday, but because of all the heavy rains over the past few days, it will crest Monday and now a half a foot higher than the earlier forecast, 45.5 feet, some 15.5 feet above flood stage. Along the Missouri River in St. Charles, the crest, which was to have taken place today, will now take place tomorrow. And again, none of this assumes any additional rainfall, or actually all of this assumes no additional rainfall for from 7 o'clock this morning on. These figures may indeed be revised a little bit later on, about 11.2 feet above flood stage tomorrow. And along the Merrimack River in Arnold, because of the Merrimack River and the backwash from the Mississippi, that crest date has now been pushed back to Monday at 42 feet, about 18 feet above flood stage. Now to the record in St. Louis. The old record high crest was back in April of 1973 at 43.23 feet. It is just a little bit higher than that today as of this morning, 43.34. The flood stage, by the way, is 30 feet, and on a normal summer-like day, the stage should be around 9 to 10 feet. So 43.34 earlier today establishes a new record, and again, as we just told you, those numbers will continue to climb a little bit higher. More on that, a look at Doppler 5 radar and what the heavy rains today may mean to our river levels coming up in just a few moments. Karen, Rick?
Thanks, Bob. Well, concern is running high tonight in St. Charles because of that higher than expected river crest that Bob just told us about.
News Channel 5's Ken Jones is live in St. Charles with more on the foreseeable problems. Ken?
That's right, Rick. As if things aren't bad enough out here, Chief Meteorologist Bob Bridges just told you the river is coming up a lot faster and a lot higher than expected out here on the Missouri River here in St. Charles County. Currently, we are at 34.4 feet. As Bob mentioned, 36.2 feet by tomorrow. That means the tracks, the railroad tracks you see behind me here where I am standing, will probably be underwater by tomorrow morning. That means a lot of folks are digging in possibly for a losing battle. Just earlier today, we saw the Lincoln County and the St. Charles County border where a major road is now supposed to be closed. Now, News Channel 5's Sarah Harlow was out there investigating that, and she has the latest on that situation.
Oh, okay. Can I get through from there?
It's not what people in St. Charles and Lincoln counties wanted to hear. A growing portion of Highway 79 is starting to flood and is now closed. Another victim of the Mississippi.
People are going through it too fast, splashing water all over the place, and somebody's going to have an accident before long.
The problem was here at the Cherokee Lakes and Campground. For about a week, crews had worked around the clock building a 3-foot-high sandbag levee. But at midnight, that levee broke. That single break flooded the area around Highway 79 from St. Paul to Old Monroe. The Thurmans thought they were winning the battle of the bulging river. Now they aren't so sure.
It looks pretty bad right now, but we're fought this long, we have to keep going.
For people living in Old Monroe, the dwindling highway is more of an inconvenience. Residents will now have to go an extra 30 miles out of their way to get to Interstate 70. Ironically, one hot spot in town is called the Detour. Inside, Tricia Rosenfelder isn't too concerned.
I'm not really worried about getting isolated in here because as soon as it comes, I'm out of here.
But not everyone can run. It's simply more working, watching, and waiting. In St. Charles County, Sarah Harlow, News Channel 5.
Now, late word from the St. Charles County Emergency Management. I'm told that the Deerfield Mobile Home Court, people out there are being asked to evacuate. A lot of water in that area, too dangerous to be in there right now. And, of course, at 10 o'clock, we're going to have the latest on the flood situation out here in St. Charles County. Reporting live in St. Charles County, I'm Ken Jones, News Channel 5.
All right, Ken, thank you.
And problems elsewhere. Residents of Arnold are bracing for the Merrimack's record-breaking crest expected on Monday. They are spending every free moment shoring up sandbag levees around their city. This family is refusing to retreat even though their home is now an island. The couple built a 2-foot-tall sandbag levee around their house near Palmy Creek, but the Corps of Engineers warned them it wouldn't be enough. So the city of Arnold and volunteers from all over the area have trucked in sand, sandbags, food, and water. The couple's levee is now almost 2 feet higher than the water's predicted depth. They say they will ride out the flood safely now. The Merrimack is expected to crest Monday at 42 feet, 18 feet above flood stage. And in North County, some residents are fighting a flood assault on 2 fronts.
People who live in Bellefontaine neighbors are battling not only a rising creek, but sewage backup as well. News Channel 5's Lisa Zigman reports on their frustrations and optimism. Lisa?
Rick and Karen, overnight, Maline Creek rose about 6 inches, forcing residents to speed up a sandbagging operation. And when they heard the crest was changed from Sunday until Monday, exhaustion and exasperation set in.
The rising Maline Creek swallowed up entire backyards and is now threatening people's homes. News of the changing crest levels was depressing to those out here fighting back the creek.
It's emotionally tiring, and just you don't sleep as well. You get up and you look out the water and see what's happening. But a big concern is that the ground is getting mushy, and these sandbags could just all slide into the water then, and all the work that they did could be for nothing.
But the backbreaking effort goes on. There is still hope. How can you not hope when even the Boy Scouts show up?
Since scouting is part of helping people, and this is a dangerous situation for the whole Midwest, we're just helping out as best we can so we can help out for everyone who's in danger.
Now, the backup from Maline Creek isn't the only problem, unfortunately. Take a look at this. I'm in the James backyard. See the sewer over here? Well, it's backed up about 4 inches over the past 8 hours, and it keeps backing up.
You work so hard all your life. I'm relatively still young, but you work so hard, for your house and for the things, and something so unexpectedly like this happens, it gets to you.
But those who live here still have an unwavering faith that they will not have to leave their homes, even if more rains come.
And unfortunately, more rains did come today. Sewer water is now between several houses. The creek continues to rise, and the situation, I'm told, is deteriorating. Sandbagging is at a frantic pace right now as people try to shore up the breaks in the sandbag walls. Rick and Karen? Okay, thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Same story all around. And next, unfortunately, with disasters often come people who prey on the victims.
And this flood is no exception.
I'm 5 on Your Side reporter Jody Davis. If you're a flood victim in Missouri, like the folks who own these mobile homes in St. Charles, did you know that there's free legal advice that's available to you? And the same may happen in Illinois. Details coming up.
You're watching News Channel 5, St. Louis's #1 5 o'clock newscast.
Earlier today, President Clinton traveled up to Capitol Hill to meet with members of a congressional delegation from the Midwest.